So I've helped over 50 people buy Section 8 properties in multiple states, and here are the main things that everyone has in common. The first thing is that they are not going to be in a situation where they see this property as something they are going to live in. It may seem very obvious, but a lot of people are not in situations where they go and use that mindset. With that being said, you have to understand the difference between an investment property and property that's going to be your primary residence. They understand, after obviously we instill the philosophy, have the conversation, and make them understand that, is that this property is going to be investment. You're not going to be living there. You shouldn't be caring about the fucking colors of the walls. You shouldn't be caring about what the fuck there's a picture frame on there, bullshit like that. The main things that they worry about after we instill the philosophies in them in regards to our investor knowledge is one, does this property make sense on a time, energy, and money basis? Does it make sense for your situation? Because everybody's situation is completely different. The second thing is, does this property align with my long-term vision? If this property is going to require a ton of time and energy, but your long-term vision is to just be seamless, turnkey, buy turnkey, which basically means rent ready and continue to scale, then it doesn't align with your long-term goals. The third thing, they understand that it is going to cost money. There's so many individuals that say they want to invest in real estate, but in reality, they want some home run deal, which is just not going to happen. And if it does happen, there's going to be some sort of cons to it. If you see a property that says, hey, you could put 5K down and you're going to be renting for $500 a month, yeah, you put 5K down, but you're going to have to put 50K in rehab, 40K in rehab, 30K in rehab, 20K in rehab. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, in reality, you're in for the same amount of money. But that's something that people have as a misconception, and that's why we go and instill those beliefs into our investors in regards to having that in common, which is just, does the deal make sense? Let's run it. They're not gonna be nitpicking, not gonna be complaining, they're not gonna be fucking asking a million questions. Seniors treating this as the primary home, all that. Second one, which is looping into, and basically the first one, basically piggybacking off of it, is going to be the fact that there are a lot of individuals that think they're just gonna retire off of one property. The idea that you're going to retire off of one property is just not going to happen. The bottom line is just not going to happen. You may have a home run fucking deal that maybe pays for a car payment. Real estate investing long term is not going to retire you off of one property, but it's going to build towards your retirement. I want to repeat that again. One property is not going to retire you, but it's going to build your retirement. That being said, you have to understand this is a long term game, and it's purely just to buy your time back from your active income pursuits. You buy a property, pays you cash flow, appreciation, tax benefits, depreciation, everything that's going to benefit you in the long run, cash flow in the current time. But if you reframe your mentality to understand it's not going to retire me, you're not going to be looking for a grand slam home run deal, because it also makes you a harder investor to work with. Not only necessarily with us, because we kind of cut that bullshit out, but in regards to the people that we work with, which is the realtors, the lenders, insurance, brokers, all that stuff. And if you're in a predicament where that's your mentality, is trying to have a grand slam all the time and retire off of it, it's going to be very hard for those people to work with you or want to work with you, and it creates a really bad taste in their mouth, and it's just a hard reputation. Not saying you got to buy some bullshit in regards to the deal, but you're not even nitpicking absolutely everything, because it's just something people don't want to be around. The third thing is that they move with speed on everything. When I tell them, I'm like, look, bro, I respond all hours of the day. I'm always going to be getting things done, and I want you to pursue the same so we get you the best possible results. With that being said, that means responding to your text fast. If a broker calls you, answering it fast. Signing a document fast. All of the above. Because you have to understand, especially in this real estate investing game, that when you're in a predicament where timelines need to be met and negotiations are in process, if you answer fast and you get things fast over to the other opposing side, which is the seller side, they're more in alignment with what you're trying to do. Obviously there's some cases where they're not, but when they're more in alignment with what you want to do, and you're fast, and you're getting in alignment with what they want, which is sell the property for the most amount of for the best terms and the most amount of time. It makes things a lot easier. Like, for example, if you're trying to plead the case that you're a young investor trying to get things done, buy this property, live one unit, rent out the other one. If you go and illustrate that story with your a buyer's agent and your team, but then you're not responding fast, the sellers are saying, this guy's full of shit, like he's just young and doesn't want to do it. But when you're going and responding fast and boom, getting them everything they need, inspection, appraisal, everything on the fucking dot, the seller will probably lean in, because they're gonna say, oh, okay, like I'm willing to work with this guy because he's in respect of my alignment. He's in respect of my goals, and he's in alignment with my situation, which is selling the property for the best terms in the least amount of time. So it allows you to go and operate at a level that other people can get, because they overlook the idea of being punctual. Very big thing. The next thing is being coachable. A lot of people are not coachable in regards to real estate investing because of bullshit that they heard online. You could read a billion fucking books. about this whole investing game, 90% of it is not going to be functioning in this current market. It's just not. And the reason why is because there's maybe some things that are hypothetical or true, but there's not going to happen. Like when people say that you're gonna, buy a property that's a fourplex for $500,000, and then you're gonna add work to it to be 750. Like where the fuck are you gonna find that? And I'm not saying that that can happen. It's just not a hypothetical truth. But there's other ways to make it work with maybe a deal at $600,000, or like when we bought a fourplex that was 740. So when you're coachable to this current market, it allows you to perform at a higher level than other people that think that they know enough when they haven't proved enough. Because confidence is going to come from evidence. If you're overconfident but you have no evidence, you're really just delusional. So you have to be coachable in that regard. That's something that a lot of the individuals that work with us um, are very in tune with, because I also try to lead by example in regards to investing in mentorship. I paid $14,000 for a mentorship back in September, and I've continued to invest in myself, invest in things that are going to benefit them, leading by example, leading on the forefront. Another thing is understanding how to be relational with the individuals that we are working with. And the reason why I say that is because then it makes it so much easier to get more favorable terms when you're going and trying to scale. Like, if we, like a guy Josue, for example, bought a property, boom, easy, turnaround, fast, all the other things that I mentioned in regards to character traits. Um, Once he's going to, try to buy another one in Ohio, because he's debating about there, and California, the agent was already like, look, like I really respect you, you made things a lot easier. Like I'll drop a commission. I was like, oh shit, like like I haven't had her offer to do that, but he was just such an easy person to work with. But now he's over here buying in California. With that being said, he's respected everybody in the team, the lending side, everything. It just makes this deal a whole lot more easier to operate with, not only necessarily in regards to their jobs, but then also their motivation to help him because they rock with him. And I'm not saying that's something that can't be done if maybe not a social person, but there's a difference between being a social person and being a respectful person and being relational. Josue is not really a social person, but he's very respectful. He's not super outgoing, but he's able to have this conversation, able to look people in the eyes, able to remember things about them, to call them by their name. All that stuff adds up. People think that it doesn't, but it does. The next part is asking questions after they take action. A lot of people go and try to, ask their mentor or whoever they're working with off the rip. And the thing about that is that it depends on what it is. If you're not even trying to solve it yourself and troubleshoot it before asking the question, you're never going to develop the habit of like getting intentional with your actions to go and try and move the ball forward and then fix it. You're going to be in a predicament where you want someone to fix every single problem for you. You need to try it yourself first. Try a little bit and then say, hey, okay, this is what I tried, but it's not working. What I do, I'll be like, hey, you know what? You tried towards the right direction. You just missed one more part, and you'd have been done. But that allows you to build a skill set in regards to thinking on your feet, being proactive, getting things done. And then if you're just a little off a little bit, boom, you got to fix. But it makes our life easier because we don't have to go and say, hey, do this. I could go and say, hey, you did a really good job on boom. It's just a matter of this last part. And that allows you to have the skill set to where when they work with us on the first deal, maybe second deal, they don't need us anymore. They can go and repeat that shit. Because that's the end goal, is for you to be in a position where you do so well that you want to work with us again and you like it, but you have the skill sets and capacity to go and do it on your own. And I'm not saying that I get, frustrated or I want people to ask me questions, because I answer absolutely every question. I don't give a fuck. But the problem is that when you develop that skill set of automatically looking to, I don't know what to do, hands up in the air, it is not a long term. It's not a long term thinking. It's very short term and very feelings and emotion based. Last part is going to be emotional versus logical. Right? There is a big difference between thinking with logic and emotion. If you think logically in regards to the whole deal making sense, it may not emotionally feel good, but you understand that, if you use your logical mind, it is going to make sense. If you think emotionally, like, this seller was rude to us, or X person was, not cooperating. Oh, this person was lagging. Delays happen all the time. People are not going to be nice to you in real estate. And when you go and operate with purely just off of logic and with a calm mind, you are going to be fine. But if you are very emotional, if you get frustrated very easily, it is going to be very hard for you. So when you have the opposite of that, you're going to perform very well, and that's what we notice with our students. Because um, things always happen in real estate. Obviously, we go and navigate most of the bullshit that could happen and making sure that there's as minimal things as possible that could go wrong. But the things are always gonna happen that are out of everybody's control, right? A seller could go and be under contract with us, everything could be smooth, and then they could get sick and not want to sign the papers. Like something like that could completely happen, and you just have to be detached from the outcome, think logically, and understand this is investment. But it's all about the mentality side, and then also the mentalities are going to shape your actions. And I think that a lot of people hear the word "oh, my mentality," and they kind of like think that it's like guru jargon, which it can be. Some people are full of shit. But when you operate with the mentality of understanding that I need to be logical, I need to be detached from the outcome, and I need to just move correct, it allows you to not be upset and also move faster when you're going and navigating this deal. Right? If an inspector is supposed to go out on a Tuesday and they don't go out till Saturday, and if you're like, oh my gosh, like this team, you don't know what the fuck happened in their life. If a seller that you countered, their offer with more, and then their counter to your counter was fucking horrible, you don't go and say, this guy's a piece of shit and he's unreasonable. No, it's hey, look, this guy may be full of shit, but are we gonna walk away or are we gonna try again? It all comes from here. And also, actually, the second last part is knowing when to just be like, when to just walk away from something. If someone isn't in alignment with the things that you vision and are not in the same situation as you in regards to like say a property manager, maybe they're not in alignment, maybe they think that they're a 10 out of 10 property manager and they don't need to work hard, but you're 7 out of 10, you're still building yourself up, may not make sense. Hey, I just gotta walk away. It's not something where you're dissing them. Just like, hey, you know what, I just don't think it makes sense for us to work together for this current situation. Or hey, you know what, I'm currently working with this property manager. And when you navigate things correctly in that way and you respect yourself, you carry yourself in that way, a lot of people not only respect it by default, but they're in a situation where they can sense the self respect, and either they too respect you more, or if they don't respect you more in regards to enough to maybe settle their differences and work with you, you're in a predicament where you save yourself some time and headache. And I think a lot of people want to be relational to the wrong people, and you have to be able to spot the little things. If someone doesn't answer fast, boom, I'm not gonna work with you unless there's like other outlying things that outweigh that. If you're condescending, like little things like that are little things along those lines that are transferable, and not really in direct correlation with the performance in the real estate transactions or just getting things done, uh, are things that you need to understand are going to be long-term character traits and characteristics that you're going to have to deal with for a very long time if you continue with working with these people. And there are some things like that maybe the one factor that makes you not work with somebody. Like someone could be a fucking 10 out of 10 party manager, boom, badass at their work. But, through 8 hours of the day, they don't fucking respond and they randomly respond at 10 p.m. Like, I'm not trying to deal with this shit. Just not. Or um, someone may be badass on the lending side, but the other team is rude to you and they're asking for documents all the fucking time. But it's not the lender's fault; it's their team. Just not trying to deal with it. So be willing to walk away from shit all the time. You're gonna walk away from things more than you're going to walk into them, and don't be afraid to fire fast and just disassociate yourself with someone. But appreciate you watching. I know I wanted to spew, and I know I said last time, but I kept saying it. I'm gonna keep ripping these videos for you guys because I want to just spew everything that I know in regards to real estate, investing side. All people will be helped because I want you guys to win. I don't lose anything from you guys winning. So let's get it. Appreciate y'all.